And good morning and welcome to VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner. And certainly Ollie and myself are now back in London. So this is being recorded live. Morning, Ollie. How was your flight back?
Yeah, it was good, thanks. Much less eventful than the way out to Canada. So that was nice. But yeah, good to be back.
Yeah, you had a bit of a whoopsie with a medical issue, didn't you? You had to land in Montreal on your way over, which made it a very long flight for you. But there you go. But it was a very good PDAC, wasn't it? It was really busy, lots of activity, lots of business to be won. I mean, it's really pretty exciting over there, wasn't it?
It was. It was a really there was a really good buzz at the conference. And yeah, lots of opportunities for VSA, but also, the lithium companies were excited with teams from Ford, Tesla, Hyundai, Honda, all looking for projects and companies. I guess, it being a North American conference, there's always a large percentage of gold companies there as well, but they didn't seem to be getting that much attention. It was all about the critical metals.
Yep, well, we would agree with that. That's sort of where the focus should be. And obviously, just quickly, anybody, we did do a small write-up on the Toronto trip, which is from the VSA dispatches, which can be found on our website if you haven't received them, or you can actually email us and we'll send them to you. Anyway, let's move on to news. And I think we've got to kick off today talking of lithium with Atlantic Lithium, where it was all fun and games yesterday with the stock having to be suspended after it fell 50% because of a short selling report. And of course, they short sell before they published the report, which was very negative on Piedmont. But the reason it was negative on Piedmont was about Atlantic Lithium, claiming that they had the licenses they got weren't valid because of bribery, etc. And obviously, this morning they put out a response saying this is absolutely wrong. What's your take, Ollie?
Well, yeah, the company's highlighted that the areas that are questioned by the short seller have no relevance to the current mine plan and the PFS. So that does seem to be a bit of an error on the short selling front. Obviously, if any of the licenses have been secured in an underhand way, then there's got to be consequences for that. But it doesn't look like it should affect the actual operational plan that's been put forward. I mean, I do think, for what it's worth, if Atlantic Lithium weren't able to go into production, then yes, PA would be in a very difficult position, as they would find it difficult to find alternative supply for their Tennessee facility, and Atlantic is a key part of their strategy.
Yeah, I've got to say, I mean, my own view is I am very surprised by this myself, and I think the rebuttal from Atlantic Lithium was very strong. There is the old saying, there's no smoke without fire, but I mean, I do find it rather amazing. If you actually believe Atlantic Lithium, which I think we do, it's probably an incredibly good buying opportunity because the stock is still down at sort of 29p because people will feel there's no smoke without fire. And of course, the stock has been over 60p not so long ago. It was trading before this around just over 40p. The shame is that, it's very difficult to get rid of this sort of a rumor. It takes a long time. I hope for their sake they do. Anyway, probably enough on Atlantic Lithium. Anything else you got today, Ollie?
Well, there was just yesterday, you did your special recording with G Silver. They announced completion of a block trade yesterday. Obviously, part of the fee for the Great Panther acquisition was settled in equity. Those shares became available to trade just before the end of last year. So a block of 4 million shares has gone to a US institutional shareholder. They haven't been named as yet, but sounds pretty positive to have what is described as a strategic investor now on the register rather than the vendor, and to clear out the block in one go is obviously pretty positive for future trading, as I think the market's known that needs to be cleared out. That's probably held the stock price back a little bit over the last couple of months.
Yeah, G silver, for those that can't remember, is Guanajuato silver, which we all love saying. We saw quite a lot of them out in Toronto. I've also actually, I mean, on the silver price, I received a report from someone yesterday where they're talking the silver price up to as high as $125. I think if it just moved from 20 as it is today to 30, we'd all be happy. But the theory is that, you know, people forget that silver is actually really a battery metal. It's used in a lot of, well, it's certainly used in solar panels a lot, but it's also used in batteries. It's a proper industrial use. And the theory is that someone like a Tesla might come along and buy a silver producer. And of course, there are very few pure silver producers out there. Most of the silver producers are byproduct of other mining. Obviously, Guanajuato silver is basically a mini Fresnillo, which is why it's dual listed in London, because people understand Fresnillo. They should be buying Guanajuato silver. But we talked a lot about that in our pre-recording yesterday, so that's probably enough on that one too. Anything else, Ollie, or should we call it a day there?
Just highlight Camel full year results, 29th of March. I think with the debt having been fully repaid there in the middle of last year, there's fairly strong expectations for what the dividend announcement might be, given the flexibility the company's now got with free cash flow generation.
Camel's actually, I mean, it's actually in a great position at the moment, isn't it? I mean, it's been so steady and just, getting on, producing, generating cash. I know the market sort of thinks, well, what are they going to do next? And that is still a big question out there. But you can't ignore the fact that actually over the last few years, it's been a very steady, healthy performer. And with the sort of yield it throws off, actually, it's been a fantastic stock to have in your portfolio, and still is.
Yeah, indeed. And in the last couple of months, it's had a good run, sort of breaking out from the quite tight trading range it's been in. Yeah, it's been good. But I think, yeah, the site visit that went on in November, I think that showed, the mine transition they're doing at Sasa is a big job, and it's not necessarily surprising once you see what they're actually doing there firsthand, why they're taking a bit more time to find the right acquisition to take the company to the next stage after that.
Patience can be a virtue sometimes. And on that note, Ollie, why don't we call it a day? But we can chat again tomorrow.
All right. Cheers, Andrew.